All right, welcome back. Now, in the words of Thomas Jefferson, e-commerce writers say, I believe that every human mind feels pleasure in doing good to another. So today we're going to talk about humanitarian work for inside Obodo, Nigeria. Now, voluntary work, should it be necessary? Make we regulate them for inside Obodo, Nigeria, because we see a lot coming up every single day. So on that number, I want to talk more about them. And also, what will be the content of this humanitarian work? And does it actually get to the people? We're going to talk about them, as I talked before, in depth today, because we get the beauty ourselves. Person where don't sit down, talk, say, come on, I must stretch my hand to help people and where they need and we not get opportunity to they exposed to some basic things. John, we welcome Antonia Ali of the How Foundation. And also we get a volunteer in the house of the How Foundation, Tino Fascino, yes. Sorry, in the house. Good to have you, Tino, and Antonia again.
Yes, good to have you back, Antonia. We don't see your works on the different things that they do in and out of Lagos State concerning the How Foundation. But before we delve in directly, I want to ask you, if you say humanitarian works now a thing of compulsion or make it just a voluntary?
I think it's something that should be voluntary. Because to be honest with you, Nigeria is a society, it's a country where we have a lot of people that are already very giving by nature. A lot of people don't have that much, and we have a high population of people that live in poverty. But you'd be surprised that the little they have, even to their churches, they give to the motherless babies' homes, maybe during their birthdays. Like we're actually naturally a very giving group of people. So I think making something, compulsory tends to then remove the genuinity behind the essence. So I don't think it's something that we need to make it, we're already very giving. We don't need to make it compulsory.
Now, the reason why I actually like that question, because we see a lot of people doing it nowadays. And sometimes when you hear some kind of stories, you're the one that say, are these people doing it because it ain't necessary or compulsory, or because they just want to show, say, come, I am doing something good? Or are they doing it voluntarily from their heart because they will actually stretch out helping hand to those who will not actually get access to these basic things? Because we see a lot of fake NGOs every day.
I agree.
So how do we actually fetch out the fake ones from the real ones?
I think it's an issue with almost all organizations that have an opportunity to play on the conscience of people. It's a situation where if you think about the NGOs and you think about the churches and you think about maybe other organizations there to help people, you still have some bad eggs. Some people who think, okay, you know what, this is a good way to play on the conscience, to play on the goodwill of these people. So to be honest with you, it's you being able to do your own personal research. A lot of NGOs that get money, they have to make accountable how they use the money that comes in. You can ask an NGO that, okay, how do you use your money? A lot of us actually make it available to the public. We're still a year old, so we're in the process of releasing the first financial audit, basically, of, But any organization that is legit, you ask them, how do you use? A lot of times people come to me, oh, yeah, an NGO, I'm sure you're rich, I'm sure this. We get it all the time. And it's a thing of, if you actually want to sit down and have me explain, for example, when I'm buying mosquito nets are not free. You have to, if you want to get good quality mosquito nets for 1,000 naira for one, a lot of people cannot afford it. So if I want to give maybe 1,000 people mosquito nets, that's already, I think, about 1 million on just mosquito nets alone. And 1,000 mosquito nets isn't really going to do that much. So when I'm saying, okay, I give mosquito nets, people say, oh, in the villages, these are villages I go to, I don't even know the people there. So there's logistics involved in, maybe if I buy my mosquito nets in Lagos, getting them to the village. When you go into the villages themselves, you feel, oh, I'm doing something good. But you still need to settle people within the village. We know how, these things work. So you can come to someone and say, you run an NGO, how does it? If you sit down with me and I'm able to tell you in detail, because there's a lot, it will take the whole day, how much I spend on things, how things are being done, you even be wondering, where's it sounds really expensive. It's very expensive to run an NGO. And if someone is doing it the right way, just go on there. And that's why some people say, oh, you're doing this, why must people know you're giving?
I've heard that before.
A lot of times.
We have to let people know that we're giving for our own security. If we're giving money and we're not able to show people this is what we're using the money for. I'd rather be insulted that why am I showing off than to be insulted what am I doing with the money. So it's a personal thing. You can go up to an NGO before, if it's something you want to volunteer. A lot of people want to be a part of my NGO. We're all very smart, intelligent people. They can go on my website, they can go on the social media, they can see this individual is very transparent, you know. So I think it's a thing of looking for transparent NGOs. Let's know, okay, where they're getting their funding from, how are they using it, you know, things like that. Just, you just need to do. And also it's a thing of what are you passionate about? Okay. Some people are not, I mean, we, for example, we have malaria, prostate cancer, youth leadership and mentorship. Someone that is passionate about breast cancer, I would not advise them to show interest in my NGO, because passion is what makes you want to do something without realizing that you're doing it. So I advise people to go for NGOs that are in tune with what they are passionate about. If it's children you like, go look for a legit NGO that helps children, you know.
And so ask questions.
Ask
I like that.
lot of questions. Ask questions. You're open. Anybody that feels insulted that you're asking how you use the money, how you do this, you do that.
Don't deserve your money.
Yeah, it is a part of, it's part of the job to actually get, people come to me all the time. Oh, what are you doing? You know, why are you showing off? Why are you letting people know? And if I'll take the time and I'll explain everything to you why that
Okay,
happens.
now I really love your explanation on that. But very recently, now a particular NGO actually contacted me to be a part of their project, giving back to school and everything. And one thing where I noticed now, say it is very difficult for so many people to, you know, contribute money. And you resist the urge to spend. Trust me, it takes my discipline and my fear of God for that not to happen. So how you handle that? Because just now you mentioned 1,000 naira for mosquito nets, and then maybe like 1,000, that now 1 million. Now you get 1 million in your possession where nobody know, where you be say, as a typical sharp person, you fit cut corners. How you they hold yourself back from actually not?
I think it has to do with your upbringing as well. I was raised by a white woman from Denmark in Nigeria. And we all know that white people typically, I'm not saying all, you know, Caucasians, they have a way of how they are. And she's an accountant where she works in a Nigerian, well, an Italian company. She's in charge of people's salaries. She's in charge of right up until the director, you know. So I was raised with your money, you can do whatever you want to do with it. But when you're managing someone else's money, that's kind of like a responsibility given to you that my conscience wouldn't even allow me. So people that are running NGOs, legit NGOs, you need to look at their characters. Also, you know, it depends on the person. If you have people that tend to not be, because really things that will make you, you know, tempted to spend money on and stuff tend to be luxury things. I'm not particularly, I don't even wear jewelry. I'm not particularly someone that's very flashy. Everyone that knows me knows that about me. So if it's a thing of food, my bills are paid and things, I don't see why I would feel tempted. Oh, you know what? I want that maybe brand new red bottoms. Let me take some, go buy. You know, I'm not that type of person.
You know what? We'll talk to you very soon because we want to understand your level, why you decide to volunteer. But I still just want to add a follow-up to the question Betiana asked you. So in that way, how do you put food on your table?
NGOs, people that work for NGOs get salaries. Oh. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that, but they do.
I don't really.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, because
they do.
Yeah.
So I just feel it's voluntary work. So
no,
why
when you run an organization, you have to get a salary. You have to get a salary. So that's a lot of people do not know that.
So how do you get the income for that?
That's the thing. People say pastors and we're not the same thing. Pastors are, when we talk about religious, I guess there's some organizations, some pastors, maybe they might need a salary because they've had to now focus on this 100%. They can no longer do their side job. So they do need, so you have to decide, okay, what is reasonable to give our pastor every month in regards to, you know, so it's the same thing in an NGO. This takes 24 hours of my time. It is my lifestyle. I dream it, I eat it, I sleep it. So there's no other way. I have no ways of even doing side jobs or anything like that. So it is only, and even to be honest, to raise money is not easy also if you run an NGO. So it's only fair when an NGO, a proper NGO has a board of directors. So I do have people that I answer to. And these people come together and they decide, okay, this is what's reasonable for this person. This is where this person should be housed and things. So a proper NGO structure should have a board of directors with you know, respectable people that are able to, you know, keep an eye on what's going on, and that's the situation. But people don't know. NGOs, I mean, the UN, ECOWAS, people that run it, they get salaries.
They get paid.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, so let's talk to you, Tinu, now. Why you decide to volunteer with the How Foundation?
Basically, I think people say I'm a nice person, which I don't believe I am.
I want us to say, are you a nice person? Because apart from people saying...
Why would you not believe? So how do you see
I
yourself
don't
then?
believe, because apparently I think I get it from my mom, because my mom was so selfless when we're growing up. Like, I'm practically the only child from my mom, and she had like other kids around her. Like, I even got very jealous at a point. So with that, what can you do to help people around and stuff? And I guess, I know, like, I tend to have, like, malaria a whole lot, so I know how it feels like when I go to the hospital and they tell me, oh, so person died because of malaria. And I'm like, why? And then I heard about the How Foundation, and I spoke to her to be a volunteer to help out with whatever they're doing, any outreach, work, anything, awareness, to just make people understand that this thing actually kills faster than HIV, than cancer, than every other thing. And you know how it is again now with like having malaria drugs. To us, it can be affordable, but to a lot of people in the villages, it's not affordable. So with and even mosquito nets as well, because when I was in secondary school, it was like, I remember I was in boarding house, and it was always a struggle. Who took my mosquito nets? Who did this? Do you get? Because you don't want to just hear that noise of mosquito having to bite you.
Sure.
So I just imagine how people that don't have houses, that sleep outside, like the pain they go through, everything. So I was like, okay, yes, I have to just come on board to help out.
So how that experience done before you so far? I mean, you don't go to different locations now, you don't see different people. Like you talk, you don't actually experience people where you visit and say, nah, malaria killed them. How it don't affect your personal life volunteering with the How Foundation?
It humbled me a whole lot, because people die every day from malaria. As in, it's like you see people suffering practically. Like sometimes you want to cry when you see, oh, this is what malaria is doing to this person, like really. So it's humbled me a whole lot. It's made me see things differently, make me see the world differently. So practically, yeah, it's humbled me a whole lot. It's made me have more compassion, pray more, and take care of myself more as well, and people around me, basically.
So, Antonia, do volunteers get paid too?
Yes, they do.
Really?
Yes, they do.
Wow. So, Tinu, they do any other thing apart from volunteering? Because now it takes 24 hours of our time every day. So,
Tinu is a different volunteer.
Okay. So what makes that different? So
No, we need to know the types of volunteers.
Yeah, okay, so I think it depends on the situation.
Okay.
So if, for example, I have an event that is maybe out of state, I don't think it's fair for me to be in a position where I expect you to use your own, you know, because you're literally working with me 24/7. When we go to the villages, it's a 24/7 situation, because literally as soon as we land, we need to go to the village and make sure everything is done. And if we have 2 days there, we have 2 days and we have to be out, also for like security reasons. So that kind of situation, obviously, I have to give some form of compensation. But you know, if it's just a day, for example, and you, like generally someone like she, because of the fact that she runs her own business, and I do ask her to help me for free a lot of the time. So sometimes I feel, okay, you know what, I can compensate here and there.
Yeah.
And also because I'm the one asking her. But sometimes she comes to me, it's like, she wants to do this out of the goodness of, like, she wants to do it. And she doesn't expect to get paid. So if it's a thing of, it depends on the situation.
Yeah,
I have to use, you know, my conscience. I have to use, okay, she's coming from a far place. I don't expect her to use. But, you know, if it's a large thing, for example, when we went to the villages, we had about maybe 60 people from the village that decided that they're going to volunteer.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I really love that.
Yeah, so they came on their own and they said they want to volunteer, they're interested in it. So that kind of situation, I wouldn't think that, you know, there will be a need for me to say, okay, because they live there, that's their village, they're trying to help out, they want us. Because at the end, they were giving free mosquito nets.
We actually scrutinize these people a lot, because now looking at what happens in the IDP camps, a lot of materials are being diverted. So hope say you
I'm
actually...
there. I'm actually there. I go personally.
Better.
I go there
So that money go
personally.
there, no go there
Tatiana
enter
go talk say
basket.
better.
No.
Yeah, better.
All right, we
I
still
go
get
there
Antonia Ali in the house of the HAL Foundation, and we get a volunteer in the house too, Tinu Fashino, inside the house. And we talk about voluntary work, humanitarian work for inside Webudu, Nigeria. Is it compulsory? Is it necessary? And should it be regulated? A lot we don't learn from them. But when we come back after the break, time for us to meet them up close and personal. Is Antonia single? Is Tinu single? You'll find out after the break.
Yes, welcome back. We still get people from the HAL Foundation. We get Antonia Ani and we get the volunteer Tinu Fashino inside the building. And we they talk about humanitarian works, voluntary or compulsory. Now, behind the scenes, we they talk about and Antonia, they tell us, say, then get regulatory standards for inside NGOs generally. You want to shed more light on that?
Yeah, for an NGO, you can't just decide, okay, I just want to start an NGO. When you realize that our government has put in, which I think that they should do, lots of systems in place to make it a bit harder for people to just decide they want to do an NGO. You need to have like a board of directors. Your board of directors would also be looked at. The CAC would actually look at your documentation and see the type of people that are there. You have to have a website. You have to have a lot of things in place to ensure that it's legit. Then there's also like SCUMO, for example. It's an organization, I think, under the EFCC. There's an anti-money laundering organization. So they too, they will look at your, there's a lot of things. You need to make sure your accounts are being audited. So, there's a lot of regulation being put now. And I think some people are saying the price of the CAC has even increased. It has. So to register for, an NGO has, increased as well. So there's things that the government is putting in place, because I'm sure they've noticed it as well, like it's an issue. So they put a lot of things in place to ensure that, Nigeria is beginning to produce legit NGOs that want to genuinely see the progress of the country as a whole. Because the whole idea of this NGO, why it was brought into existence, is just to assist. We're a non-government organization, but we would assist the government in areas that maybe they're not able to pick up on. And that's basically the sole purpose of an NGO. Nothing more, nothing less. Is to assist the government to help push the country forward.
I totally like that. Very soon we'll list out all the things we want to do. But now, in as much as you tell us, say, you put in virtually every hour of the day into your
24
work.
hours.
24 hours precisely.
Even NEPA, know they give light 24 hours.
You understand? They even give and they ration.
And they ration.
So this day now 2 hours.
Yeah. Some people they do 2 days on, 1 day off.
You understand? But you now every day, you na constant power supply. How you say they get time for your relationship? If you are in one anyway.
Currently, I'm not in.
Now because say they give 24 hours. You need to ration them.
I agree. I think so.
No, tell us why.
Okay, why? To be honest with you, I was in a relationship for so long. When I was so young, that took a bulk of my whole existence. And I just said, you know what, I need to get to know about myself. So I'm literally dating myself right now. And I'm very happy.
Which not a bad thing.
I have been dating myself for over a year now.
Wow.
Not a bad thing at all.
Bad.
Me, I date myself, I take myself go dinner, I
do
buy
that.
myself clothes, I buy myself shoes. Very true story.
Sometimes you
do
need to
that.
take a break.
Yes.
Really.
I do that.
You
I go for
actually need to.
dinners, I treat myself. I think I'm the best relationship that I can be, like I've ever
For
been
now,
in.
because you need to get into a relationship. I support you, not mean say you continue
So
like
if you
that.
intend to get into a relationship now, like I know say a lot of guys now go they watch and say, this guy fine, no. What to be your spec? What to be your spec in the guy?
I like ambitious guys. I like men.
Men,
Like
not
Alpha
boys.
males.
I like alpha males because I'm also kind of an alpha female as well. So I need to know my position. But ambition is very important. I like hardworking guys. I like people that have a vision. And and I also like men that are favored. I know it sounds funny, but men have good relationship with God and they can identify they're favored and they know, everything you do, you need to, it's a spiritual, relationship. It's very important. So if you have all those things, success is,
If you have those things, you can actually apply.
I see a ring. Is it legit?
No, that's not my ring finger.
rings.
No, the other one. That's
This is not my ring finger.
Okay, that's not your
No,
ring.
but they wear ring, they chase all this men. What's going on?
Not me.
Because now you volunteer, you get your own business. You'll tell us about them very soon. So are you in a relationship?
No.
What
It's
did
because you are
happen?
doing too much. You dey volunteer, you get your business.
Because that's what they always tell us.
Yes,
you're
so
working
they
too
say you're
hard.
working
That's why
too
you're not
hard.
married.
Yes, that's my point. Yes, as in, like it's so hard getting.
Oh, that's not your own issue.
It's so hard getting a good guy these days.
Thank you, my sister. I don't
Yes,
understand.
it's
Are they
so
on vacation?
hard.
Are they really on
It is.
vacation?
Probably they're actually on
Okay,
vacation.
okay.
It's really hard getting a good guy these days.
You know, I beg to disagree.
It's okay. When you disagree, tell us really.
No. Maybe they're very honest with ourselves. I feel say the good guys they there, but sometimes we know they recognize them.
No, sweetheart. I mean, if you say a good guy, you know a good guy, you go for it. Good guys are
Okay, Tino,
so hard to
who
get.
be good guy? Where we start from there?
Okay, so a good guy is a guy that will respect you. Okay, doesn't necessarily have to take care of you, but respect God first. Because when a guy respects God, he respects you, respects his parents, knows what he wants, is hardworking, goes for everything he wants, clean, neat, speaks well. What else again? Something is very important I'm missing. I mean, just look good and smell
Okay,
good.
That's your definition of a good
wait,
guy.
wait,
Good guy.
wait. Pending when you remember the important thing, we did this list where you mentioned. So you won't tell me, say, in the past 1 year, you never see any guy who respect God, respect you, and
There's
get
always
a goal.
something missing.
Something like what?
Because this guy is there.
You know they answer my question, you just say it like this.
They start like they actually do all these things. You know how you're talking to a guy and he's like, oh, I have to go to church, blah, blah. And the minute you guys are meeting up or you're trying to know this person, he brings out his real Nigerian character.
Nigerian character.
That is why I like when you talk, say, person where respect God and not person where they go church. Because
There's a
trust me, there's a
difference.
difference between respecting God and going to church.
Yeah.
I've come to realize that some of these men parading as church people, now the ones where they really do more harm than
The
good.
tongue-speaking brothers, where they speak tongues, where no they understandable in heaven.
Because I know how these things work in church. Like, you know how some people worship God because they want people to
See them.
some people even go as much as taking their phones to thank you, Jesus, kind of. So a good guy basically is what we are looking for. And
Sister,
it's
good
so
guy
hard to
everywhere.
get.
Antonia, do you think good guys are everywhere?
Good guys. I think it depends on you. What she described as a good guy is not what I would describe as a good guy. So
What's be your own description of a good guy? I need to learn today because be like say me no waiting good guy be anymore.
well, yeah, someone that, he takes his, respecting your family is very important, especially your mother. I don't like guys that don't have a good relationship with their mother. That's a no-go area for me, from experience. Also, respecting you, I agree with that. In regards to everything else, I just feel a good guy is someone that knows his responsibilities. So responsibility is the whole package. You know to respect your mother, respect your woman. And you as a woman too also need to be respect-worthy as well, So that's what I think a good guy is. But I think nowadays, a lot of guys are intimidated by women.
I agree.
So they're finding that very difficult. I mean, if you're both saying you're having issues, you're both doing really well, you're on TV, you're consistent with your businesses, men might find it intimidating to approach you.
Okay, so you don't use us as case study. Just
You're
Go on, please, go on and talk. It's very important. Just go on, don't worry.
So,
Yeah, they don't know what happens. Like
good guys tend to be very intimidated.
Very.
They might not realize that you are actually not, this is all us trying to, it's like a mask you put on for work, you hustle, you go home, you humble yourself. They
So
don't
in a
understand
nutshell, are there good guys out there?
I think they're good guys.
sure, like nobody's saying there are a lot of good guys, but they're so hard.
you've changed your confession.
They are
They are
good guys, but they're so hard to come by. Like they're so difficult to come by these days. So I mean, we
Do you
want
think
to
we
be
ladies
in
in
a
the position
relation.
ourselves well to be attracted by from those?
Sometimes yes, because also because of our problems as well.
I think because of a lot of my problems. Like I didn't realize that my face has a natural resting B face. So I would be frowning without. It's my friends. I'd be like, Antonia, stop frowning.
Adjust
Then
your face.
so I'm thinking they're thinking that this girl's wicked. She looks wicked. Let me not
If I
approach her.
approach this one.
So I just would, like
No,
one
I
day I
think-
was just looking at myself in the mirror. I'm like, wow, that's scary.
But I think
So
if,
I can
I
understand.
think if a guy knows what he wants, no matter how your face is, it will
No,
be-
they say that, but
It's
it's
not
hard
easy
for
to
them,
say,
oh.
but when you day in that
When
situation,
I saw my
for
face
the
in the
guys'
mirror,
face.
I was scared of my own face. So I could understand,
Yeah, okay.
So I think we
But
too
in a
as
nutshell,
women.
though, I'm actually single and ready
To mingle.
to mingle. But the thing is,
hello guys.
She doesn't need much. Just respect God, not the church.
Respect her,
family,
respect her mother, triple
respect
R.
mother, respect,
Yeah.
that's basically it, though. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm single.
Okay.
That's why you're still single.
Oh, why are you there single?
Next time, are you interviewing me?
Yes.
Are you really doing that?
Are you going to answer?
I think basically, maybe because I never see the good guy.
You too.
Yeah. I know they're out there, like what you thought, they're hard to find, or maybe I never position myself well for them to find me. But I've actually not seen the good ones. I'm still hopeful that one day the good one will come around.
Amen.
But while I'm hopeful, I just try to empower myself. Rather than sit down and sob and sulk that, oh, guy never come, you are nearly 30-something. You understand? But no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well taken.
Welcome myself.
All right. Very quickly, make I give you a health
You know,
tips.
answer your own. No. I'm
Which
coming
one?
for you. Give us health tips.
Beauty tips, sorry, for today. Now, today on, they say pop pimples the smart way. Now, if you must bust that pimple way day your face, you need to actually follow them with a swipe of, they call them witch hazel, but not just like maybe disinfectants where you go get, if you get tea tree oil, if you use them as well, to make sure so you kill the bacteria where you press the pimple from. So as they press them, wipe them with small tea tree oil so that it go there very carded, and then put ice on top them, especially if you dey yellow, so that the redness go reduce. Just put ice for like 5 or 10 minutes. Voila.
I totally like
gone.
this. Now, just tell us some of the things they actually do to stretch your helping hands. Some of the things that you do in the Health Foundation.
Okay, so this weekend we have a charity because one of the things we do is prostate cancer awareness. It's actually the #1 leading cause of cancer-related death in men. And a lot of times I've found that some men, even in the villages, they don't even know what the prostate is. And some of the people we spoke to in hospitals, they said that people come to them when it's at the final stage. So final stage of cancer means either you're going to, live very uncomfortably or you're going to die from the disease. So awareness is key because once you find out in the beginning, it's more likely for you to be able to treat it.
So what causes it? Prostate cancer in men?
There's no speculation. Some people say it's higher in black men than, white men, but there are a lot of people saying different things. Maybe it could be, your health. Some people say it's a high sex drive. Maybe there's a higher sex drive in black men than. So there's a lot of, speculations around it. We're not too sure, but we do know that it's an issue and it can be reduced when people are made aware in time. So over the weekend, we have a football match, a charity football match.
When? Saturday?
On Saturday, yeah.
Okay, good.
So it's with 4 teams, obviously of men. And it's amazing because, one thing in a charity is finding money, or being able to have people give you their time.
To play.
And these are people that they're actually quite successful in their own fields to come out and play and use their energy, and it's for a good cause. So I'm very excited about it. I'm proud of Nigerians. We really take volunteering and take charity work. It's a part of the culture.
I like that.
It's a part of the culture. So
Please give us your website, please.
Okay, it's www.thehowfoundation.org.
www.thehowfoundation.org. Please go there, volunteer, support this NGO, and they're doing wonderfully well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Antonia, for coming again. Good to see you. Antino, continue volunteering. Maybe next time we will see you. Yeah.
Wedding ring.
If you like it, then you should put the ring.
Yeah.
And even Antonia too. Yeah, and we'll come.
No, Antonia, yeah, she's still there. Give 24 hours. She needs to reduce that 24 hours first.
We'll talk behind the scene. But thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, that's we there always the talk.
To talk not be bad thing, but making a way to talk about.
Please support volunteer, please.
Thank you.
To enjoy more of these our Ogbonge videos when you just watch, press this button to subscribe on top of our YouTube page. You go love am.